I'm also a feminist and a woman.
99% of rapes are carried out by men.
Yeah, but
we
some
stop talking about
rapists
them.
then
Yeah?
identify as
like
trans.
the biggest problem we women face is from trans. And I also
Okay.
think, what happens to a trans woman if she has to now go to a male toilet? Do we not have an obligation to think about that?
In a total meltdown on live TV, a woke author tries to defend the indefensible. And it goes exactly how you expect. In a desperate attempt to rewrite basic reality, she exposes just how out of touch this ideology has become. Welcome back to the channel where we expose the madness they don't want you to see. Subscribe right now for more no-nonsense breakdowns of political chaos and cultural battles. The spark that lit this fire. The UK Supreme Court dropped a hammer. Woman is legally defined by biological sex. This bombshell ruling sent shockwaves through the political world, and Labour leader Keir Starmer found himself backpedaling hard. The panel on the Jeremy Vine show dove straight into it. One guest reminded everyone, quoting Starmer's own past confusion.
On this, Starmer has definitely said a trans woman is a woman, and now he says a trans woman is not a woman.
Yes, he said in the past 99.9% of women actually don't have,
a penis.
The stage was set for a showdown. Would they accept the truth, or would ideology once again warp reality beyond recognition? Enter the woke author, Yasmin. Rather than engage with the facts, she unleashed a stream of emotional talking points that dodged the real issue. Yasmin declared,
Well, I'm a woman, I'm a feminist, and I don't consider myself an enemy of trans women. I never have. I never will.
Trying to frame any disagreement as hateful, she sidestepped the biological reality completely. She insisted,
I also find it quite problematic that femaleness is defined biologically.
Then came the bizarre personal anecdote.
I grew up fighting the idea that I behaved a certain way because I was having my period, as my male bosses would say. Oh, having your period now, or you're menopausal now.
Instead of addressing whether biological women deserve their own spaces, she made it about feelings, ignoring the fact that policy must be based on clear definitions, not subjective moods. The weakness of this defense was obvious to anyone paying attention. The panel and the audience weren't buying it. One guest hit back with brutal clarity.
A penis.
Yes, exactly. And he's wrong. And it's patently obvious to a lot of us
because it's 100%.
that was wrong. Yes, exactly. 1 in 1,000 people with, it's just not true.
They called out Starmer's flip-flopping and the activist mob that attacked women like Rosie Duffield.
Is that he did hound a woman who, with great dignity and restraint and very respectfully, tried to make the case for women as a feminist, and she was hounded.
The defense of J.K. Rowling came roaring back into the conversation.
The vile and vitriol that has been directed at her as one of the greatest sort of living authors in the English language, certainly in these isles, is disgusting.
Too. Meanwhile, the woke author bizarrely tried to paint Rowling, a woman who has been relentlessly harassed, as privileged.
She's very powerful. She's used her power and for her cause. That's fine.
The reality check couldn't be clearer. The public is sick and tired of being gaslit. 99% of rapes are committed by men, biological men, and no amount of ideological gymnastics will change that. Just when it seemed like the debate couldn't get any more chaotic, Joan Lockwood, a self-described certificated woman, stepped in and dropped a bombshell that exposed the insanity at the heart of the argument. Joan confessed,
I'm also a feminist and a woman. I may not be a biological woman, but I'm a certificated woman. I'm legally a woman.
She then spelled out the legal confusion this ideology has unleashed.
We now have 2 classes of women, one legal, one biological, and the Equality Act only recognises one of those.
Think about that. In the desperate attempt to be inclusive, society has created 2 different realities, and now no one knows what rules to follow, Joan admitted.
We've got confusion in the law, we've got confusion in the workplace, we've got confusion in society.
When the people defending this madness are openly admitting it's a legal disaster, you know the whole foundation is crumbling. But the meltdown didn't end there. Joan kept pushing the absurdity even further, claiming that trans lives are being treated like a political football.
We bully people for political gain, and that's how trans people have been treated as a political football for many, many years.
And then came the kicker, calling for an apology to trans people instead of to biological women.
I think I think he should apologise to trans women as well. I think he should apologise to trans people throughout the UK, throughout the world, because he has an inconsistent approach. We need consistent approach.
Yes, you heard that right. Instead of apologizing for betraying women, Starmer should apologize to the lobby pushing to erase them. The panel's exasperation was obvious. At one point, the host had to cut Joan off.
If I could just pause, sorry, just because we've got other things to get through.
Because how long can you entertain arguments that openly defy reality? In the end, it was clear. No matter how many heartfelt stories they tell, no matter how many emotional pleas they make, biology is not up for negotiation. The facts aren't going anywhere. Biological reality matters, and no amount of shouting, crying, or legal fiction will change that. If you're tired of the lies, tired of the confusion, and tired of watching basic truths get trampled, this is your place. Subscribe now for more unfiltered takedowns of the madness unraveling our society, because as we just saw, clarity beats cowardice every single time.